It was a calm summer afternoon in Beirut on August 4, 2020. The city, already burdened with political unrest and economic hardship, was about to witness a catastrophe that would resonate around the world. At precisely 6:08 p.m., a colossal explosion shattered the tranquility. A mushroom cloud of orange and white engulfed the skyline, followed by a shockwave that ripped through homes, offices, and lives. Over 200 people died, more than 6,500 were injured, and hundreds of thousands were displaced. But beyond the immediate devastation, a lingering question emerged. Was it simply negligence, or was there something more sinister behind the explosion? The official narrative pointed to 2,750 metric tons of ammonium nitrate stored improperly in Warehouse 12 at the Beirut port. It had sat there for over 6 years, a ticking time bomb in the heart of the city. Yet as the dust settled and investigations unfolded, the pieces didn't fit together neatly. Whispers of corruption, foreign sabotage, and hidden agendas began to surface, turning the tragedy into a puzzle wrapped in layers of secrecy and fear. To understand the explosion, we must start from the beginning. In 2013, a Moldovan-flagged ship named the Rosas docked in Beirut. It was en route from Georgia to Mozambique, carrying ammonium nitrate for an explosives manufacturing company. The ship's owner allegedly abandoned it after financial disputes, and Lebanese authorities, uncertain of how to handle the hazardous cargo, impounded the shipment. Why was such a dangerous material left unsecured for years? Court documents later revealed repeated warnings from customs officials. Letters were sent to judges urging for the ammonium nitrate's removal or proper disposal. Each time, the response was silence. Why did the legal system, known for its sluggishness but not necessarily neglect of clear dangers, fail to act? Lebanon's political landscape is a labyrinth of sectarian divides and corruption. The explosion exposed more than just negligence. It revealed a state paralyzed by incompetence and political interference. Successive governments failed to address the looming threat, despite multiple reports and expert assessments. Some theories pointed to Hezbollah's influence at the port. The militant group, designated a terrorist organization by several countries, is known for its clandestine operations. Was the ammonium nitrate linked to Hezbollah's military activities? Israeli officials, while denying involvement in the explosion, hinted at Hezbollah's control over certain areas of the port. However, Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah dismissed these allegations, branding them as part of a broader smear campaign. Survivors and eyewitnesses reported hearing sounds resembling aerial activity moments before the explosion. Videos captured a white streak descending toward the port. Was it merely debris from the initial fire or evidence of something more deliberate? Satellite imagery released after the incident showed an unexplained crater depth, suggesting a detonation beyond the scope of the stored ammonium nitrate. Western intelligence agencies, while not attributing the blast to foreign interference, found the conditions surrounding the explosion suspicious. A fire preceded the detonation, reportedly ignited by welding operations. But who authorized welding near a known hazardous storage site? Witness testimonies conflicted, and official reports failed to clarify this critical detail. Lebanon's fragile position in the Middle East made it an arena for proxy confrontations. In the months leading up to the explosion, tensions between Israel and Hezbollah escalated along the southern border. Some analysts speculated about Israeli involvement, pointing to past incidents where Israeli forces targeted Hezbollah's arms depots. Israel strongly denied any role in the explosion and even offered humanitarian aid afterward. Others suggested sabotage from external intelligence agencies aiming to destabilize Lebanon further. The country was already on the brink of economic collapse. The explosion pushed it closer to the edge. The timing also raised eyebrows. Lebanon was undergoing sensitive negotiations regarding maritime borders and offshore gas reserves. Was the blast a message to disrupt these discussions? The Lebanese government promised a swift investigation, vowing to hold those responsible accountable. Yet years later, no senior official has faced trial. The judge leading the probe, Tarek Bitar, encountered relentless obstruction. Politicians filed legal challenges, security agencies ignored summonses, and some suspects fled the country. International calls for an independent investigation were met with resistance. France, which shares historical ties with Lebanon, demanded accountability. The United Nations voiced concern over the investigation's stagnation. Yet the Lebanese judiciary, deeply entangled with political loyalties, remained inactive. In January 2021, Judge Fadi Sawan charged former Prime Minister Hassan Diab and 3 ex-ministers with negligence. The political backlash was immediate. Sawan was removed from the case, further eroding public trust. Judge Bittar, who replaced him, faced similar obstacles, including death threats. Among the victims was 3-year-old Alexandra Najjar, killed by the blast's shockwave while standing near a window. Her father, Paul Najjar, became a vocal advocate for justice. "We don't just want answers," he said. "We want accountability. We want to know who allowed this to happen." Families of the victims organized protests demanding international intervention. The Lebanese state, however, remained unyielding. Activists highlighted the systemic corruption that enabled the tragedy. Warehouse 12, it turned out, wasn't just a storage facility. It symbolized Lebanon's governance, neglected, dangerous, and teetering on the edge of collapse. The explosion devastated Beirut's port, the country's primary trade gateway. Reconstruction efforts stalled amid political paralysis and financial crises. The World Bank estimated the damage at over $4 billion, with indirect losses surpassing that figure. Businesses closed, unemployment soared, and the Lebanese pound plummeted further. International aid poured in, but much of it bypassed the government due to corruption fears. France's President Emmanuel Macron visited Beirut days after the explosion, walking through ravaged streets and condemning the ruling elite. "Lebanon needs a new political order," he declared. Yet even Macron's intervention couldn't break the deadlock. The vacuum left by official inaction became fertile ground for conspiracy theories. Some believed foreign intelligence agencies orchestrated the blast to reshape Lebanon's political landscape. Others speculated about Hezbollah's hidden arsenal being the true cause. A particularly persistent theory involved an Israeli airstrike targeting a weapons cache. Proponents cited eyewitness accounts of aircraft noises and the peculiar explosion patterns. However, military experts argued that ammonium nitrate explosions naturally produce the observed mushroom cloud. Israeli officials, meanwhile, reiterated their innocence and pointed to Hezbollah's activities at the port. The Beirut explosion wasn't just a tragic accident. It was a microcosm of Lebanon's enduring challenges. A dysfunctional political system, pervasive corruption, and external interference all converged in one devastating moment. The port, meant to be a hub of prosperity, became a symbol of a nation's decay. Was it merely negligence? The available evidence suggests gross mismanagement played a primary role. Yet the anomalies surrounding the explosion remain unresolved. Missing documents, contradictory testimonies, and geopolitical tensions suggest that negligence might only be part of the story. The quest for truth continues. For the families of the victims, the explosion wasn't just a moment in history. It was a personal cataclysm demanding justice. And until the full truth emerges, Beirut will remain haunted by the echoes of that fateful August evening. In the heart of the city, near the remnants of the port, a memorial stands. It bears the names of those who perished, a silent reminder of a tragedy that shouldn't have happened. The unanswered question lingers like a specter over Lebanon. Was it just negligence, or was it something more? And perhaps more importantly, will the truth ever be known?